nakuda is that he has to kasha over here. L'chora since Kalim are in of Shiur, and even the Kalim is an ak, so it's in of his habas of in of vol of Shiur. So the klal l'chora is that yesh miyesh there has to be an ayin be'emsa. So how's the shaykh here that l'chora is in of Kalim, not in of air which is isgalus, but in of a mitzias of Tzius l'chora, it should also be in of ayin be'emsa. So he's makdim, starts getting all arichas here. That and then the end of the inyan is by the Maimer Sparta, but he starts off over here that says Vayikra Avaya Avaya, that the Shlushem is Avaya Avaya Del Avaya Del Asata, and Vayikra Avaya Avaya is that there's Amshara from Avaya Del Hill to Avaya Del Asata. We'll see later in the Pratim how it comes back to what he's gonna speak out of here. So first he starts speaking about Avaya Del Asata, and the kata before the Hine, that's he starts speaking about Shem Avaya Del Asata. Shem Avaya Abba Begillah Lahavis or Lahachis Elam is Avaya Del Ela is the way Avaya is, the way the Avaya is higher than his Havis. Avaya Del Asata is the Avaya which has the Shaykhis to his Havis. So you start speaking about Pratis in the Va'in. What's the Nekudah of Shem Avaya which is Ba al Tzmakar to his Havis? It's up to say. Va'in the Hine Yesh Bez Min Shefa. We'll start from there. Yeah, it's a very good so we'll go through the Va'in the Hine Yesh Bez Min Shefa. Aleph Avah B'Seder V'Adragam Ilu La'ol Yesh Le'yesh. Hamshacha which the Hamshach is the Fi'er Hamakir. And that Eifin, where the Hamshach is Beseder of Adragim, Midarga Ledargin, each Darga is the Fi'er, the Darga Shekedum Le'im, Miyesh Liyesh, so Yochel Love HaShefa, Kameshi Hi B'Mashpia, Ela Makabel. Since the Makabel is Be'erech HaMashpia. So the Mashpia could be, that's his Hava, the Shefa. The same horse, the way it is by the Mashpia, can be neutral to the Makabel. It can be Gashes, Vashwas, is Takam Ashalan. So the Usher is the Makar, and the Ani is the Makabel, but the Ani is a Keli, is the Fi'erech the Makabel, this Hashpa from the Usher. So the Hashpa, Kameshu is Nimshach to the Ani. Kamekin Mashpa, Zruchni is Shabba, Shefa la Makabel, Belishin Amos. These are the Duguk Kameshu, Kameba Shpa, Sechom and Mashpia la Makabel. In a case with Mashpia and Makabel, the Erech Zelazeh. So in that case, there's no need for Inin of Ayin, for Inin of Tzimtzum. The Gufa Shpa, Kameshu is la Mashpia, Bala Makabel, there's no Inin of Shin Amos. When the dargis are be'erech, so there's no need for a shinem mahos. The inyan, the way it is by the alien, is nimshach to the tach. That's when the shefa, which is nimshach to the makabel, when the makabel is the fi'erech the mashpia. So then the shefa kameshu is the mashpia is nimshach to the makabel. Then there's even a shefa beis, which that is about the dilug erech, when the hashpa, when the makabel shalei be'erech to the mashpia. So in that case, in order for the hashpa, for the shefa to be nimshach from the mashpia to the makabel, it has to go through enough dilug. It's the makabel be'ein arech lower than the alien. So then the ashpa is an eifin of shinem mohus. And then it's the shinem mohus the gamri. That's called me'ayin liyesh, not me'yesh liyesh. That's when the say the hashpa is be'erech. Me'ayin liyesh is when it's eifin shalei be'erech. Why is it me'ayin liyesh? Kishe'ein arech klal the makabel gam me'meshir. Me'ayin liyesh means that the makir is be'ein arech legamri. The makabel is makabel the inyan which is shalei be'erech to the way the inyan is by the mashpia. The way the inyan is today, so ayin is that the inyan, the way it is by the mashpia, stays moved though, stays be'en arech to the makabel, and the makabel is makabel in inyan, which is sholei be'erech to the way it is in the mashpia. Is a mashpia. So and that eifin sha'ah is an eifin with the makabel sholei be'erech to the mashpia, and in order for the shefa to be neutral to the makabel, it has to go through inyan of shinya mohus legamri. Because then sarah shotov shefa and mashpia the b'chinas simsum eretz musi legamri. To have a simsum is the eretz musi of the mashpia is sholei be'erech to the makabel. What's able to be nimshach to the makabel is only the chitzenius mashpia. He doesn't go into the pratim, and that's mavur and chassidus, that in such a eifin, the shefa which is shaykh to come to the makabel is only the chitzenius. But the eira mashpia guf is shalei be'erech. So in such a eifin, you have to be mitzamtzim, be mailim legamri. The shefa, the eira atzmus of the mashpia. B'chadei shetucha love shefa lefi erech le makabel avad. Hainu, where is this eifin of mashpia? Eifin of be'ein arech, b'chinas keach v'shefa eira lekiya elyon. That thing that which comes more milo. Shu bilti bagvul v'tachos, which is ein seif, which is higher than agbala, bleak vul, and ein arech klal the nivra bagvul, gabi bilti bagvul, the nivra is gvul. That thing the shefa er liki, which is nimshach in vel, the nivra is gvul, and the beir is bleak vul. So ein arech klal gvul is not a keli to bleak vul. The Alter Rebbe is a dugmentanya that if you have bleak vul, ki yedua b'milas erech misparim. That Echol Legabi Ribi Revavis has a certain erech, because Ribi Revavis is built from many ones. Masha'inkin Legabi Bligvol, so a Gvol is no erech to Bligvol. Yeah, unlimited is a whole different mahos than something which is about Gvol. So in order for there to be the ashpa from the Beida which is Bligvol to the Makabel to the Nibra which is Vol, there has to be a tzimtzum. Asiluk, and then the mashpia, which is bligvul, is considered ayin. Then the hashpa, which comes to the makabel, is a yesh ma'ayin. It means that it's a chidush, it's a new inyan. It's a new inyan which is not it's not be'erech, not behemshech to the inyan the way it is by the mashpia. Okay, shehu tzarli, it says havas in the baligvul. Min haberis baruch shebulti bagvul. He actually is coming from shefa aleph and atzmos mashpia b'derech ilav the etzem of the mashpia, the way he has it, b'derech erech b'derech ilav aleph kishar yishtalshus. Ella the pchinas simsim ha'ir lekibit chilugam. Free that from Milam Zain the era bligvul of the air. What do you need this? Who could the shiyucha lias acharkach shini erlich erech hanitzrach lias moses havas abril bagvul. You have to be mishana the air that it should be masim to the nivra. The nivra is the chabagvul. So in order that the air, the shefa leki, should be masim to mechaya nivra, which is gvul, you have to be Milam the bligvul of the mashpia. And it should only be nimshach only how much the makabel is able to handle, which that's shalei be'erach with the inyan by the mashpia. The Eibusher itself is godless, the godless ain't safe. The nivra is the godless ain't safe, the Eibusher cannot be mere nivra. You have to be milim the ain't safe, the bligvul, and to be mamshech to the nivra only according to what the nivra is able to handle. That's in of yeshmai. This inyan, this tzimtzum, in other words, the tzimtzum that you need in order for an air which is misad atzmei, misad mashpia bligvul, in order for it should be a keli for the and the nivra is gvul. The nivra is bein arich to the mashpia. So in order for the shefa to come from the mashpia to the makabel, you have to go through a whole seder of tzimtzum. That's leaked in the Dal Eis Shemavai. Zo in the Dal Eis Shemavai. That's made on the seder Hemshech from the air which is bligvul to the makabel which is gvul. There's the whole seder b'seret. That's the zo in the Dal Eis Shemavai. Chol is al Havai is lo Shemahave. Havai lo Shemahave means that's b'chinas Shemapol. That's the way Lukus is a mocker lahavis amitzias lahavis anavram Shemahave is a kalmayin liyesh. So the Eis Shemavai is meruma is the seder Hemshech in order for the to be the nice havas nalukus. So there's a kedua the Eis Yudishim Avayish ain't recommended kol avad b'li ispash shetach ereverecha meira b'chinas tzimtzum meira. There's two pratim in the gabi the nekuda, the gabi the yud. First of all, the nekuda is meira on tzimtzum eira atzmus. That the way it is inside the etzem, which is bligvul, that's nisalam legamri. Shemaylim mitzamtzim mitchila kol b'chinas eira shevish v'atzmus legamri. So first of all, the air hashefa the way it is by the Mashiach, which is bligvul, that's nisalam mitachlis. What is geblieben on nekuda? That means, what's this nekuda? The nekuda is the inyan nekuda zay zardak mashanisha be'etzem mashefa rak l'tzerich esavas and balik boulevard. That's the bligvul the mashpia is nisalim. What is nishar the etzem inyan which is shayches to the makabel. That's the first symptom. You're milim the bligvul the mashpia. What's nishar is the nekuda saying. The nekuda sechayis aliki, not the bligvul of the shefa, but the way what's shaykh for the makabel to be makabel. That's the nekuda. So first of all, I can nekuda achas gabi raked. The raked is like one nekuda. It's shalei be'erach. This is bligvul shalei be'erach. Another thing is this nekuda is kailal the entire chayis, which is later going to be nimshach to the makabel. But there it's naifin of nekuda. That's what he starts speaking now. The gamzayis u'chinas simsum u'chinas klolus levad. So first of all, Mashi b'chinas klolus gam kitzim gabi sfasha seirat raked. Gam the gabi b'chinas chitzeni shibur. And then the guy b'chinas sfasha acharkach b'chinas klolus is b'chinas ribier. I mean, he brings later the dogma of Mishnah, but just you have sometimes before you want to, if someone's being masber something someone else, so first there's the tamtzas inyan of what you want to elaborate on. First there's the nekudas hatamtzas, what's the nekuda that you want to bring out, and then there's the klolas harichis, the pirut hadvar. So the nekuda is the general mechuven, what's shaykh for the makabel to be makabel. That's this Hachodesh in the nekuda. So first is this almost of the bligvul of the mashpia. The nekuda, first of all, the bligvul is the shmeir, and the tchuna says spashas, which is by the mashpia, which is also an eifin of heder agbalis. That's behelim legamri. But bleibt is on a nekuda, that means only on a nekuda saseichel, which is shaykh to the makabel, and that nekuda is kreilo the entire shefa, which is shaykh to the makabel. But legabe the makabel, the way it is in the nekuda is still shalei be'erach for the makabel. Says legabe b'chinas says spasha shacharkach b'chinas klolas zeis b'chinas ribier. See what he says here. Yeah, it's also going to be the gay. If you have l'moshel, you have a Talmud which doesn't know the Indian klal. So you have the Rav Shalei Be'erach to the Talmud, And the way it's Meir Mitzad Rav is B'chal, the Shaykh is for the Makabal to be Masik. So he has to mitzamtzim what he sees in the Inyan. The bleak vol that's Nevea from his Meich, and that has to be Nisal. And he has to be Keveh on a Kudah. The Kudah is Hashem, which is Shaykh to the Makabal. And that's to give over the Talmud the Nekuda Kameshihi. The Talmud is not a keli for it yet. In order for the Talmud to be Makabal this to get this point, he's going to have to go through pratim. You have to tell him this prat and that prat until he gets the kol is the kamechuvan of what you want to bring out from the whole union. But so there's two pratim here. In order for him to get the prat to the Nekuda, you're going to have to be mafaret pratim. But first, the Rav is mitzamtzim myself. What's the general message? Let's say. That's the general Nekuda that is going to be able to give over to the Makabal. And then he's going to have to work with that Nekuda itself. There's a whole arichas of what he's going to have to work. So the Yud Hashem Havai Yisai, this Amos Eira Etzem, this Amos Ablikvo. And the Mela, what's Nishar is a B'chinas Nekuda Levad, it's a Tzimtzum Legabi the Blikvo Shekodem Ilav. And then there's the whole Shefa, which is later given Nishar to the Makabal, the way it's Kolul in this Nekuda. Maybe it's a Mashal. A Mashal is a Yid, when a Shefa, when a Shwa, Sichel B'chok, when a Gadol Talmud Katan Erev. שאין הרי כלל לתלמידי לוב שיוכל לקבל השכל כמו שהוא אצלי ברכב חוכמוסי ובינוסי. כן, ועד יצר שהרב החופץ להשפיע, what does he have to do? לצמצם עצם שפע השכל זה. בלתי יסגלה השכלת עצמי בעשר השכל. ונשאר רק נקודה אחת, means the עצם gedank. Just to use a mashal, you have the Meshchal Barai, there's the Rav sees in this Svara, Emek Nifla. He has to be a man of the emek that he sees in the sword. This is the nekudas hatamsis, the etzem, let's say, idea of a mitzvah world of Haraya, not the reichkeit that the Rav sees in this idea. That's not shaykhis for the Talmud to be Makabal, but there is a certain nekuda that the Rav that the Talmud is able to, what's shaykh to the Makabal, and that's the nekuda which from that the Rav is going to build that it should be nimshach later to the Makabal. Nishrak nekuda achar shezam ashen samtzim and aseichel mashu be'erich lo v'la Makabal. Which this nekuda is be'en arech legabe atzmos sichli. Kudazu kileles behelim betzimtzum kol ma sheyushpa lemakabel be'erech bereichav. What? That's the yud. What's it? Hey, b'inyan ha'hei sha'achra yud u'b'chinas espashus be'erech bereichav be'inyan ha'shef hazes. Kefi hatzarech lo ve'lemakabel dafke. It's like this. Ki ha'nekuda k'mei shehi harei klolis adayin. The general nekuda. V'le'yed ha'makabel menes ha'inyan sichli. You say. Every there's the pratim that you give over, this prat, that prat, then there's the general, the nekuda klolis was fulfill is breaking from all these pratim. There's the prati asvaris, and then there's what's the nekuda klolis, what do you want to give over from all these pratim? That's the nekuda klolis. So the nekuda klolis is still is higher than the makabel. Then you have to work out shizol l'malim asagos. V'gam yesh ba nekuda ribeir adayin. Gidol l'kol erseichul k'meshu b'kol zadayin yibchinas ribeir. She'in zil ferech makabel. כי אם צריך לפרט את הפרטים שבנקודה מה שאפשר להביא בהשגת המקבל. וגם בזה מסעלה מאיר והגילי שבנקודה קלובס. That's the first thing. The pratim, in other words, you have the nekuda, let's say, in seichel, but you have the nekuda, so any way you want to give over, and then through which pratim is this nekuda going to be given over, let's say. Welche pratim will na reis bring, and we know in general nekuda that the nekuda is not higher than the pratim, but you have a nekuda which is higher than the pratim. You have pratim. You have through all these pratim, you get a certain eira el al kolana, certain nekuda klolis, which is never from all these pratim. So you have the nekuda itself, and then you have the Rav has to be mitzamtzim and be mefarid the pratim which through them, which are shaykh to the makabel, that through these pratim will be able to get to the nekuda. That's the hey. Then he says, "Weiter, ach kol zeb atzos hamashpia. Shemishar ba'atzmi hapratim shebeseichel. Mishemitzar machshavte ich lo ve'atzir el seichel b'loshen b'ksav." The way he speaks before he's in a tnua of he's in the agah of someone's being misblamed, and he has a rai in sichli. But then he has to think, he has to write it down. So first of all, the gedank, the way he understands it, that's not, let's say, that's not shaykhis to be given over on paper. Let's say, you want to write it down in an organized way. The way he sees it is not concrete enough. It's not mugdar enough. It's not mitzimtzim enough in order to be niskabel al-asaf. So first, let's say which point does he want to bring out on paper. That's shaykhis to avekli, to write to put it down on paper. which nekudas ha'inyan, what's the nekuda klolis that he's going to be able to express on paper, and then he's meshayir by himself in vas fara'if and get a shayir. But he's still, before he's in a tnuah of writing l'payil. When someone's in a tnuah of writing, holding the pen, that's when the Rav is already in the tnuah of, he's connected to the makabel. He's in the tnuah of tzimtzum already. Here's where the Rav is being meshayir by himself before he sits down to relate to the makabel. He's thinking by himself. This is the nekuda which is already shaykhs to give over, shaykhs to deliver, and then there's the way he's meshayir by himself, the pratim which are going to be able to, through them, be delivered to the nekuda. But before he's in a state of relating to the makabel, that's the way he says it. But in the Indian, the way it is in the Indian is that even the makabel doesn't b'chal know about the Indian, doesn't b'chal know about the nekuda either. For the makabel, it's a whole. Everybody's b'chal garnish thing about the makabel is gvul. In order for the makabel to get to the nekuda, first have to be masber in pratim, and he hears each prat b'fnei atzmi. He's not margish how the pratim are a movi to get to the nekuda. He hears the prat, and then saf kol saf, he'll be able to reach to the hair the nekuda calls. When the Rav is being mefared the pratim shema nekuda, there it's meir begali how the pratim are a movi to get to the nekuda. So in the hay, it's still the way the pratim are behemshech to the nekuda. How the pratim are not eating b'fnei atzmi. How they're all a movi v'derech in order that the nekuda should be meir through the pratim. But etzem they're pratim which are shaykh to the makabel. They're not the way the Rav sees the inim at his seichel. It's the nekuda. The chalad and nekuda is all a inim which could be delivered to a makabel. And it's the pratim which through them you're going to get to the nekuda. But you have the pratim the way the makabel has it, and that's b'chlal not together. And those pratim are not nigash the inim. You see what I'm saying? You say he's speaking about what he brings in brackets of someone being mitzayer how to write something. The pearl before he's in a mode of writing, when he's being mitzayer how to write it, be'em leicht nach the inyan that he wants to give over. And he's being mitzayer how which pratim could express this inyan. When you're writing down on paper, you're focused on the sentences that you're writing, not the Indian's delivery through this pratim. Ja, versteht ihr mich nicht? Danach, achar kach comes the vav. Vav is, what's the tzir of the vav? So, tzir of vav is shehedach b'yeshem u'mayl lamata. So it said nimshach u'mayl lamata. Kav kotzer u'mitzumtzum. So that the nekuda is not pure pratim, but it's hilach hashefa dehei. But when you get to the hay, it's still batzmusei adayin. So achar kach comes the vav, sho amshacha v'gilui. That's the already the tnuah that you're meskarev to the makabel. V'hainu mashubah seichel b'kitzara b'li yisrach v'sapratim. Aval b'chnas hamshacha ma'ay lamatik mekitzar ha'mishnah sheyesh ba pratim al l'shem b'kitzara she'enim b'vo'arim adayin. That's already when you're already in a mode of the kesher to the makabel. So Baba Barish Shiur Shubchina says it's in the Sarchas Akademis. Mashar is in Salam Meir. Chagachis Barchas the Sarchas Aprotim Shabavav. Washad Chanit is on makabel. Kamshach the Vav in Chisis of Sagam Amshel Kamaga. Zeram Kishidis Kol Zibachos. Then this is already the Vav and the Hidavi touches it here is already in the Seder Hashevet to the makabel. So when you're speaking to the makabel, you tell him the nekudis of the pratim Beifin Klali. And then you're mefared the pratim. The kids, the Mishnah and the Gemara. So the Mishnah is you can't. You tell him if the Gemara he's going to lose the whole. You started to tell him Arabic things. You tell him the general nekudis bechlolos. The nekudis bechlolos, and then there's the period erzal taku ufchab in the pratim. And through the pratim, self will get to the Indian. So the vav is not being mechadish new pratim. The pratim, which are a mavi to the nekuda, which are still better than the nekuda, but to be made of them in a way that they should be a makir for as a you say a nekuda is a tamtis for the makabel. You should have a framework for the makabel, but the makabel is still not mastic this after saying. As ever the kids in our Mishnah, you know the dinim, or the you say this halacha are beifin klali. There's a din chveis that sugel malim mechop psula. What's linked in them, if it's because of this reason, that reason, you have to have a nekuda klaus. The nekuda klaus says that there's a certain issue with the height of the sukkah. And then you go through the pratim. What's the issue with the height? Is it karnanes or chveis keva? That's in the pratim. That's already that the pratim should be munach in the makabel. But then there is before you start discussing to be masin the inin to the mahalach haseichel to the makabel, he has to have a general nekudis of the gambas gates achreid. So that's the vav. Then there's the here. His parshas Zachos Apratim Shabavav. Who Shetach Hanitvas HaMekabel. You have the etzem in which is shaykh to delivery, and then you have the pile. The Meich of the Mekabel has his way of understanding things. So first he has to know being a Vaspara Inyan Vomada Ibergedi. That's the Vav, and that's the Kitzra Mishnah. And then the Pirut Hadvarim that it should be Takamis Yashiv the Klei Sichli. Abshach the Vav in Imchins Tfisa Vasagam Mamish V'Kei Mekabel. Kizer Rak Mashi Yedei Sech B'Chol Sadayin Kinam. Ve'eni Ba Esle Imchins Tfisa Ba'Akshama Lefi Erech HaChushim HaKelim Shalei. Means the Inyan is Lefi Erech HaMekabel, but it's not Ba'Akshama Lefi Erech HaChushim HaKelim Shalei. And that's the Hey, which is the Shetach Shal HaMekabel Shenitvas B'Kelim Shalei. ובו אצלי בהקשמה לפי ערך החושים שלי. ומקום כמאיר לידי זה גיל הערב, וזה מזרח הכלים שלה, שבינו לפי ערך הכלים שלי. משקסם כל זה מקום אחר. סוף כל סוף, the nekuda is that the nekuda of the Rav should be Meir Bat HaMekabel. And that's the problem which even though they're nisgash לפי ערך HaMekabel, but it's nirgash that there's an inyan which is coming from a higher place. That the nekuda that the Rav is giving over to the Talmud is Ishtu Pesazach, which is a seichel megushin. It's a seichel naile, which was nisamtzim. In an even that should be masim to the klei HaMekabel. The mail is Meir Le'adei Gileir, and Sof Kol Sof kommt dazu the nekuda which is the nekuda klolis which is shaykhs to the klei HaMekabel. Which calls it makamah. There is more ma'arich makamah. This is Hemshech as Shal Gileir. Yeah, mechabed dominion. So now we start speaking about the Mishnah. Nimshel mikol zeh yuvan l'mayla. Iker tam kriyas shemavaya shem b'chinas hishavas kol bagol and bulte bagol she'ener yekabanim. What's the word of shemavaya? Dal is shemavaya. So hishavaya is al shem b'chinas hishavas. Hishavas, which hishavas? Bal gvul from bulte bagol. That's the din of hishavas. Sin of yesh ma'ayin. That the mishave is a mitzias is nishave means it's beloi be'erech from the mihav. Kein hutzrach liyes adi dal is elu l'shemavaya. Das ist der Yud ist Zimtzum Eira Asas B'tchila. Zeu ha'helam bat Zimtzum legamri actually nishar like a nekuda the Yud. What's the nekuda so Yud in Sfiris? That's Zimtzum ha'chochmem b'shol ma'isa b'reishis ma'yan liyesh. Mishim et Tzamtzum etzim ke'echsichum b'shol askol k'tani livin is binyan. Ahanu lovi l'klal seichel she'enim b'hus v'erech sichli klal. Means a dugma if someone mitzad mohus sichli is able to ben in yonam amukim b'yesem. Or he has a keach lahaskel l'chveisna, and he's mitzamtzim sichlei to a nidrik at a sart hasaga vitzu bein abinyan, which is a seichel maisi. A whole shalei the fi'er of the real mohus of seichel. The real mohus of seichel is to be mizbeina, to be meir the havshata of binyan, let's say the emikein. Here he has to go and figure out a technicality, living his binyan, a chachma maisis. So for that he has to be mailim the mohus and the godless of sichlei. Just the nekudas haseichel, which is a mucker for living his binyan. Before he works out how he's going to build the building, that a seichel should be in a eifin as a mucker b'chlal. You should be in a state of a mucker to be maskil how to build a building. That seichel is a whole different type of seichel than the seichel the way it is by the Huskei haseichel. That's the first symptom. You have the Rav himself, the Lukus himself is blig vol. That from this blig vol it should be a mucker teis habas, which is vol. That's shalei be'erech already. So to be mitzamtzim the chayis that shouldn't be meir the blig vol of the chayis. It should be meir how the chayis is a source for an elam. That's the nekuda. Before we're dealing with what type of elam, how the elam is going to be, that's already the pratim which are going to stem from the nekuda. First, that the shefa should be in a eifin, which is a mucker, which is a nekuda for his habas. That's a tzimtzum legamri. That's already a shina mohus legamri. We left the blig vol and the reichkeit to the mashpia, and now we're only that aspect of the mashpia which could be a marker for the mitzias haisavos. That's the yud. Zeh b'chinas ha'nekuda, and that's chachma hashayich lebriyas elos. That's chachma hashayich lebriyas elos. Which is in a the gabi atzmos klal. Kudas is the chachma kelel is ba'atzma kol b'chinas ervechayis hashayich le'elos. This inyan, that chachma, which is the nekudas kelel everything, that's the inyan of Bereshis nami maimeru. Even though Bereshis is no eshavas pratis, but shehu maimer klali. Shekelel kol ma sheyumshach imenu bizman umakim. All the other asarim amoris, asarim rekia, this maimer, that maimer, That's all already Inyan and Pratim. This is the Nekuda Klolis, which is the Makar for the all Chayes, which is going to be Nimshach in the whole Esavos Eilams. And this is the Chayes, which is the Chachma is not, is also B'chol is Davya. He speaks later, he's going to go later B'prati, such as Chachma Da'ak, Chachma Da'tzilis, which are also Lismashech B'shis Alfish Nilchulu. That's Yudash Mavaya, that's also what Shemeira Inyan Osid Utmidi. Yud is Meira, not that when you're Meisif Yud, that's an Esa Shimush, to a word, that's Meira that the Inyan is an Inyan Tmidi. K'me Yud Kochi Yasi Yiv. Why? Because Yud Zeh Kelo Komasha Osid Lismashech Tamid. Leishu Begili, Elu Kelo Behelam V'tamsa Sadai. That's the Nekuda Klolis of everything which is going to be Nimshach later in the Sabbath, but not the Pratim. The Nekuda Klolis and which is the marker for all the Pratim. Yeah, but later we look on the helm. This is called Sadai in Meir bar Dibeir. Nicholas is Yud. Any since it's the Klali. And so nach Meir bar Dibeir, like Nicholas is Yud. Any is Gili Klala die in the Gabi Elvis. It comes from there, and it was like the Gabi Elvis. So you almost start full. And the Nekuda Sayyidus is the Meir, the Nekuda Sayyid, the Klala Inyan. Not a Tzir Prati. So it calls from the Sayyid, you can't compare. You say every single story for itself, and then there is the Makar, which is Kedal, the Kuda Klalis of all which is going to be Nimshach. That's the Nekuda Klalis of everything. Not the Tzir Prati. That's Shalei the Fi'erech, how much the Nivra Bad Gvol is able to be in the Kabbalah. Tzorach li'zachrei zebchines espashas the Heri Sheino shezo ma shenifre to aprat neshman kodesh zo b'chines agili yeser which is yeser shashayich le'elos. But the mezel mesalam early gaben kodesh. Umikolma ken kol za dayin. So what do we see from here? That you have pratim being nimshach from a nekuda. On one hand, the nekuda is the nekuda which it's not a nekuda which is mufshit from pratim. It's the klal of these pratim. It's the nekuda which is shayches to the makabel. But the nekuda itself is still the klali. Then you have the pratim which are the movi to come to the nekuda. So because that master some shpia. But is the mile then because give them a cup. Koshkan least because tfisam ba cup. Hainu least is because yesh mat. Then them are han stories la bayelikim. That's why that's the sort of allocating because chachmo bino because chachmin is the nekuda and the prat. The way it is by the Ezra Mashpir, the Mashinistum, and Elam Adayim, Beidim, Bachnas Gili Beilim Asadayim. It's not Shaykh to Felt. It's the way the Indian is, Shaykh to Elam Asbeidim and Lukus Guf. Chargaf on Niglish Lona, which is Nirgash by the Makabel, by the Nivroim, Vavkin Niglis, Hanish Achrahem is Samson Eder Baba is Vav, Shilp Chinazot, Shikra Eilish and Gili. Bubchin is Gili Elo Elamis, Mishkosik Mart Elam Chasidi Bani. That's already, Chesed is already as Chada to Felt. It's Chedach Mech Vazadach Kim Elam Chul. Amnam Gili Zeh, Agam Shub Chinas Am Shacham Kom Chinas Kol Sadai. Yesh Lis Mitzvah Chinas Yesh Mayin Mamish. Kim Chinas Shetach Lehi Achen, Shub Chinas Kei Chabel Benifel Mamish. Leis Hamas Mayin Lehi Yeshgam. Those actors, of Dal Des Shmarai. Klol is a Dal Des is Havaya, so that's the essence fit is that's it. Now he speaks different dargas. This Inyan that there is the Tzimtzum Era Shefa, so you have common dargas. The same you understand that the other versteht this in the Marshal. That the other versteht this in the Marshal that you say there's a Rav and Talmud, both of the side of the Rav and side of the Talmud are both in this world, not in different areas. Why is that the story over there? Why did the side of this over here? Huh? I go on, but Could be he wants us to hear his share. Listen to them. No, don't tell him anything. You're getting him into trouble. It's nicht kedai. Good. So the point is that yes. So the same way you understand that if you're speaking about Hashpa from Hashpia Makabosh Bein Arech, so you have it in Kamei Fan. So he starts speaking Dargis. Calls it nowadays is Sabai and this is Atzilus. Say the Vad Droged which was Hacham Bina Bezo Malchus. Kedua the Bechlal Atzilus Bechinas Mutz Bein Arech Matzal Anavra. Even clearly the Matzil is Keser, the Pshita Sein Sof. Elam, that's the bleakful. The Elam is Agvul. And Elam Atzilis is the Mutza Ben Amatzil and Etzal. Means the Eir Leki, which is Na'if, that is the Nekuta of Atzilis is should be Gile Lekus Nivrai, or that there should be this Havas Nivra from the Keyach Leki. So Atzilis is the same way you have when you get to the Shefa and Nimshpa from a Rav and a Talmud in the Mashal. That you have this whole process from a Nekuta and a Spashis and then Am Shachet and then the Shetach HaMakabel. In order for the seichel to be masim to the makabel, in order for you have this whole process in Lukus, in order for the keich halaki should be a makir should be this havas of the Metzias Hayesh, and that's the whole nekod of Elam Atzilus. It says it's not where it's Meir, the pshitas and the ein sof, the bleakvul of there. That's the tzimtzum in order for it to be masim to be Meir in the Nefram. It says that in the Atzilus is it's a memutzav in a matzil Nefram. That's the nekod of Atzilus. It's a memutzav. In Yoni is not that it should be Meir the matzah kameshu the bleakvul of the matzah. And in Yoni is not yesh. In Yoni is to being mamshech alakus. The lakus should be in a and that should be able to be nimshech in yesh.
What about the hay?
Everything. The hay is that it should. See, he says in the vav is being mas by the prat and mefin klali aday. Hay is that you're mas by the prat in a way that should be taken misyashiv beklei sichli of the makabel. There's the mitzias makabel. That's the gvul. And then there's the tzimtzum eira leki that should be masim to be established in the river. That's the Nekuda of Atzilus is the Memutza, the seder ha'ishtashlus for that the chayes leki should be in ha'ifin that should be nislavish saf in the river. There's two pratim. He's not Meirich in other places that there's two pratim in the Memutza of Atzilus. Side that there should be this havas hamitzias. So the keich leki is bleakful. In order for the be, like he says, when they get seichel, someone has keich seichel. He should be a mocker as a binyan, technical svar. Chochma meises. Has to go through a tzimtzum. Look, for the chayes and kush is believable to mahava yesh, you have to go through the inner of yud kevav. Then that's for this havas mitzias yesh. Then in order for there to be meir gidei lukus in the yesh, so the yesh is gvul. Adarech l'mashal the Rav the Talmud. So the Rav will the Talmud will verstehen the seichel harav, zayin svar. But you have to go through a whole tzimtzum in order for the svar to be masim to the makabel. But that the Nekud is not this havas mitzias and makabel. That the eir leki should be made by the makabel. That's the two inyanim in this havas in the Mutza of Atzilus. That there should be this havas mitzias elemis, and there should be the gidei lekus in the Nefram. That's not. It's not that there's a stigma in the mind. You're saying that's a minion.
Really, they have both. Really, they have both.
Yeah, you're both in Emerson. So yeah, that is really good.
So really, both have the
What do you have there?
Atzilus, and if you were just saying, you have also the matzah and the netzah.
That's what Mutza says. They have the. Not the matzah meshi, the process of preparing the area that it should be masam l'siyashim l'makabel. There's these four. The nekudas hachachma is the klal of mitzvah selis. The K is the pratim of the nekudah, but the pratim the way it's nergash the way the pratim of the nekudah. And then there's the vav, the pratim the way. But even the nekudas hachachma is the eira mashpia, which is shaychus to the makabel. Is that chelik in the shefa of the mashpia, which is could be a makkah for the makabel. Mutz the way he's saying it here is Mutz is it's the durch vertus nimshach. So he's the shliach to bring the lukus to Nivrai, not a lukus kameshu. The to bring the Aaron away the way as a makar to Nivrai. That's Atzilus. Something the same Mutz is that it's has both in Yana. The Nekuda here is not that it has both in Yana. The Nekuda over here is that in Yana is to make the lukus as a makar. Or as shaykhs this havos, that's Atzilus.
He is not a makar also.
The Yudin, that's the prat and the way it's negash the Nekuda. It's all of even the Nekuda Chachma is all a makar. It's after Tzimtzum Eiratzos. Chachma is also the Nekuda, which is the Nekuda of the Shefa, which is the Makabel. The whole Atzilus is already he touches race. says Vidal Esis Havayehin Seder Havas Vamshachas Ershi Efshal Liyas Menes Havas Yesh Nebiyah. What's the that's the Sfiras Chachma Bin Adas? That's the Seder of the way the Eid is Nimshach in order for it to be a Makkah. First is the Nekuda Kolalis, which is Shaykh to the Makabel. There's the Pratim of that Nekuda, then there's the Amshachah to the Makabel. That's the Yud Kivavke. Reishis that seems to be B'chinas Chach Moshe Vayir B'derech Yenerech the Gavas Yisrael in Sofa Sivi Kolam. That's the Yud is B'derech Yenerech. There's like a no erech between the Chachma. Sfiras Chachma the Gabi Keser is B'yenerech. It's not an ifin of yesh miyesh. Mishnah Zbar le'il b'inam ha'chacham ayin timatze. It means that the chacham is shalei be'erech. That's what he brings before in the Maimer, the Hachodesh, the chacham ayin timatze. That the sfiras ha'chachma is shalei be'erech to keser. K'meikin b'derech prat. B'chacham the Gabi Keser. Charkech ma'achachma ulumato b'chinas hatzimtzum madrega l'madrega b'chinas eder b'adrega. Means the diluk ha'erech is from keser to chachma. From the Eid Hamashpia to Nekuda, which is shaykh to the Makabel. That's the tzimtzum. The Nekuda to the Kei Ha'achrena is already, of the Hamshacha b'derech hadraga. The Pratim of the Nekuda then be Hamshachet b'devav l'mayl l'mat. Shem Havai is Hu sheba b'gili l'tzerech es havas eilamis. Shezeu gili b'chinas Eid Atzilus. Shezbar the Hachodesh Atzilus b'chinas Hagili. The fact that Elokus comes in the ifin of Gili that is Zulas should be able to relate to Elokus. That the whole thing is the Shvilas Havas B'Yachul. That's one shlav of the Daldesis. That's B'chlalis for the earth to be Shayches this Havas HaMetzias. Within Elam is Gufa there's darkness. That's what supposed to be made of. Charka B'Bchen is Daldesis Elo B'Gila B'Yach. So yes, these Daldesis is side the Nekuda. The Pratim which are Kalim to the Nekuda. And the Vav and the K, they are the way these Aces come to Gila B'Yach. U'ine lamet kelim the zon shenasim b'chinas neshama l'biyah u'mahave ma'ayin l'gesh b'heim b'chinas naran v'za u'malchus. There's the lamet kelim the za v'nukva, and then they become the mochayis, the pnimius of biyah. Shem gimel eisius heivav ki taches av ayud b'chinas atzilis v'zo that's atzirazim b'yud nevre. That means in every Seder Amshacha, you have the Indian of these Daldesis. You have the way the Indian is B'cholos, that Elokus is a Makkah for Nivraim. And then he touches up, there's another Shlav. There's the Indian of Daldesis, the way they're Nimshachim Yah. Zeb Yud Nivrei Lamabah. Ganei Dana Elyin, that's the Yud. That's the Mamutzav in itself. That's where it's Meir the Nekuda. The Nekuda, the Indian is Meir in the Ganei Dana Elyin. Kedut, Ganei Dana Meir Gilei Atzilus. That's already the Nekuda Sa'inyin, not the Pratim. Not the Pratim, which through that you're going to get to the Nekuda. The Nekuda Samahus. It's all the way the Nekuda Shaykh to the Makabel. But the Nekuda, you say, the Nekuda, the Mahus Sa'inyin, which is the Nekuda Sa'inyin, which is the Gilei Leki. That's Gan Eden Elyon. Hey hu ba'elam abriya. If in Klali, so the hey is an elam abriya. She'ein Meir shamu husa lukus mamish. Kim chen samsagas amtzias labad. Kum ma'amar zapas kilei rani chulu. Afilu chayis hakedesh she'ein mreim esakav chen esriya samuhus. Makam chen esigim chen samtzias lukus pasay gemura. Means you have the al desis v'cholos. Then you have the mitzias ha'ishtalshalos. Each elam till you have the in other words, it's just you have lukus in Ephraim is enarech completely gabi applicable. Within Ephraim Gufa, it told us Verta Yesh Gashmi, so each Eilam represents another one of these Da'alesis. B'chol this having a Lakusa Da'alesis in order to be a Makam Tibiyah. And then in order for there to be a Yesh Gashmi, there's Atzilas Bri, Tzir Asiyah. That's B'chol. Abiyah is also Memutza in order for it to be this Havas Yesh Nilam Hazeh. And each Darga, Tzilas is the Pchin of Nekuda, is the Yud. And Bria is the Pchin of the Hey. And Yitzir is the Vav, and Asiyah is the Hey, the Hey Achrena. Which that's all bringing the Shefa Lekei in a way that should be able to be Mahava Yesh and Asiyah Gashmis. So there's the Chlal, the Dal Aces in order for it to be in of his Havas of Nifraim. Within his Havas of Bria Gufa in order to be Ilam Hazeh, the Mitzvah Sayesh. And for that you also have, that's the Dal Aces, the way they are in Elamis. That each Elam is another Nekuda in the Tzimtzum B'Yirida Sayr. For there to be this Havas Yesh Nilam Hazeh. Those are two. Yeah, that's right. In the Sikha of Yisro, there's a Sikha that ever spoke. It's actually by it was Nissen time. By just passed away with from Toronto with Shachar. By his Ufruf, Tashin Design.
As there user Sikha in Nissen. And they just put in
He was a chassin. It was I don't know. It was this Shabbos or it was Kiddush. I don't know. Huh?
Not Shavuos?
No, it was Shabbos Mitzvah. It was Zayin Nissen. I think it's the exact date. I think Shabbos Shabbos. Yeah, he was his father was Bechatik's brother-in-law. And they had a story with the Rebbe, with the Ness and everything. But he asked the Rebbe, Rebbe only Fabring Shabbos Avarchim then. So he asked the Rebbe to Fabring after that for his sons Shabbos or Ufrif. I don't know what it was. So the Rebbe told him that it's not, there's no, in other words, they didn't prepare for ring, and it's not a week for ring. He said that Nissen is a Hachodesh that the Nessim give. So the Rebbe said, he'll be back in a few minutes. That's the Rebbe's Nisach of Kol HaMesameach Chosn Zeichel Chamisha Keilis. So there's a Chamisha Keilis, no, Zeichel L'Teirah Shenita B'Chamisha Keilis. So, what's the pshat of Teirah is nittem b'chamisha keilis? There's Arba keilis is dal deisis of Havaya, and Teirah is higher than Havaya. That's chamisha keilis. So the Rebbe is majid of dal deisis Havaya the way they are within Elam has a gufa. You have the David Tzemei Chaim Medaber. They correspond to the dal deisis Havaya. You have dal Elam that seals b'rit tzirasiyah. Two things. Rebbe is majid there dal the in of David Tzemei Chaim Medaber in Veld. David Tzemei Chaim Medaber b'nefesh. So you have Dibur is Heachreina, and that's Daimon. You have Midas is Yitzira, that's Vav, that's Tzemeach, and Meichin and Ratzim. So steht dort, I think. That's the Dal Eisish Ma'adei b'nefesh, and then the Rebbe spoke the way it is in Elamis, Atzilus B'ri Yitzira Asiyah. And the Torah is higher than Elamis. But I'm saying there you have the Nekuda of the Dal Eisish Ma'avaya, the way they are in the Dal Eisish. These two, four, you have a Lakus is B'chal higher than Veld. That's Chamisha Keilis. The Lakus is Blik Vol. You have a Lakus is Shaychis to Veld. Within that itself, there's 4 stages. Leifin Klali, that's the Tzimtzum in order for the air to be Nimshach to the Makabel. But it's 4 dargis in the way Lakus is a Makar for Bria. Seeing that Sikha there could give some. The way the Rebbe's Mazur thinks Chai could give a tam in the way he brings it out of here. This is brought as a Mezem D'Shteba. Means in Bria, the Nekuda Se'inyan Atzmai, this is the Parsha, he says, there's the Nekuda Se'inyan, and then you have the Heidi Shaina is the Pratim of the Nekuda. But it's the way that in the Pratim is still Nirgash, the Nekuda Se'inyan. So I'm saying, if you want to give over something to Makabel, you want him to get a certain Nekuda which is mufshat from Pratim. Saying this Prat and that Prat. You want him to get a certain Gedank, let's say, or a certain general point. In order to give it over, you have to go through Prat. So in Atzilus, when he speaks about the way it is in the Da'at Elimis, Atzilus B'Yitzir Asiyah, Atzilus is more than a Nekuda Se'inyan. And then there's B'Yitzir Asiyah is the way the Indian comes out already in a Metzias of Pratim. But in that itself there's darkness. So Bria is still Bekiriv to the Ayin Eliki. Means it's out there of the Heiri Shaina, where the Pratim, it's Nergash in the Pratim that there are Movi to the Nekuda. So he says. Hainu Fish Imi Lo Kan Never Gorsai. I feel anyway it's coming from Chizremus. I'm coming in Bria, Masigim Chenas Amtzi is the Lukus, Pasaki Gmura. Without any Srafim aimed in Mimal Levov, it means that the Srafim, Bria is higher than a Vav, higher than Yitzira, higher than Dam Shacha, Lamata. Because Bina is Meir in Bria. She'imi Lo Mekan Never Gorsai. It's Meir in Bria is Bina. What's the Nekuda Bina? Stag of Havana Balakus. Chachma is that the Indian Guf is Meir. The Eir Alein is Meir. Bina is the Pratim of the Nekuda. That's some in Bria is Havana Vasag means there's a Metzias. And the Metzias is Mastig Alakus. That's Meir in Gilakus Adi Asagasa. V'chein Elam Abria in Adayim Chnes Yes Mamish. Hainu B'Shem Meir Sham Gidei Alakus Chul. Al derech the hay, which is the pratim, the way it's nirgash, the pratim of an akudah. So stavana vasaga, the way it is a keli for the eir laki, it's not the eir laki atzmi, the way the eir laki is meir nasag. Elam abri ina yadayim k'nes yesh mamish. V'hain rishon meir shom gidei l'kus. K'mishas bar the yud v'hei u'k'mishal atzmi yadayim. K'meikin v'elam is the elam abri ina yadayim k'nes yesh begidei kim k'nes efsharas yesh es levad. And that's also why bria is nikra cheshech v'helam legabi lamata. Because of a better cheshech, it's gal to say yes, woo, better is gal the nekudah of mitzias. Not the way that the mitzias are, that it's nergish the mitzias, that it's just a mavit on nekudah, but the nekudah of mitzias itself, that's beitzira. That's why tzira is called er. Why? Because in tzira, the er comes in the ifin of gilui. It should be tzira, meir b'chinas above the shemavayishins, brothers so much in the sounds of meir b'chinas espashas the Yerushaina, above b'chinas gilui the makapel. It's already nergish by the makapel. It's nasim zefchinas mitzias, yesh b'izgalas, b'elam ha'tzira. Come come do a daily myself can them can say mamish. Ikresh will masir that will stop to basir from zeh rein. Malchus that zilis. Even basir, that's the fun. Who bkhnas tachas zimtzum early is nicht so a couple of bailums. Keine maschine ist von session rum. Wo okay, gehen wir mal in der mamish. Nimmt so Shema vai Bob gile bailums bia la weise mal in lies. Shema vai bkhlolus. Because even the kud of chachma is la achre zimtzum eratzmus. Is the nekuda which is the ratios of the chayes which comes in elumus. Zeh what I'm shakel yichil mahal shabech shemavai. Fil amalachim. Means that they're able to be masik shemavai. Burim atachtene b'yesel shamayim v'aretz v'chol tzvah. Shkol yihal shemavai. What's about yihal shemavai? L'chor al shemavai shayach l'neshamas laf. V'ikra aditayla mitzvah shneter savai mitzvah savai chulu. Which because of Eir Avram Shmi Avai Leini Daitelem. So if he can zayin l'chein emer lebnei Yisrael ani Avai aditayla mitzvahs. So if he can zayin kol abrim yihal shemavai all the abrim. Mikol kol abrim yihal l'mishapim l'shemavai. Tu Shemavai, Chzev Shemavai Dlosata. Shemavai Dlosata is Liz. Shemavai is Bob Elam is Laveisim Ayin Liyesh. Yeah. Ima Yesh Tachayisam Slavish B'Seich Hamish. B'Chin Hashem Elikim. That means the way it comes in of Tzimtzum L'Fishet HaMekabel is through the pearl through a hell. And Kol Ikar Savus Shemavai Lam Kedavai Mahava Chulukanam. Gam Shebevadi B'Chin Sadolas Erech Min Abraham B'Biyah. Let's get to back to say, there's epis vas hamakir. Shouldn't have killed the guy. Mashe behem beslap just mamish in eres nefesh ruach. Shouldn't have given shmei in the shom. Koshim in the verb. Consider the kamas. Okay. Good. So now we still didn't go back to what he wants to get to when he get to Kalim. How it is it that is havas yesh mesh zayin ben. But the Hashem is not. What he's saying basically here is that the Shem Avaya, there's the way of the kusus hamakir in the Nevrayim. And Klal Shemavai, even the Nekuda is the way of the Kus is a marker to Nevrayim. In that itself, there's dargis. There's the Nekuda, there's the Prat, the way it's Nirgash is the Prat and the Nekuda, there's the Vav, there's the Hey. And within these dargis, Shalei Beraz Amizet, the way they play themselves out on Elamis, it's 4 Elamis. Atzilus is the Nekuda, and it's Bri, it's Asiyah. I mean, it's 4 stages. Each stage is also, but even Klali, from the Yud, it's already the way the Nekuda is a marker to Nevrayim. That's what he's Meirich. He's Meirich in the 4 shlavim in Abshachas to be nimshach to the Nevrayim, and the way it is in Shemavai, the way it is nailed. I'll have to see how these pratim are negate to understand the inyan of Atzilus and Ak. The inyan is bar lo dadim pi kei the misavas v'payil. Bar le'il ran atzol adam pi the kei the misavas v'payil hari olu kol ha'elam is lan evran tchilad machshav. Till now we're speaking about Shemavaya, the way the earth is already the Shemavaya means that the earth comes in a tzir of an akudah and a tzir of pratim. But Shinizbar le'il that even before there was this havas v'payil, before there was the Shemavaya le'payil, all the kol ha'elam is lan evran machshav the b'chinas haratzin. Which is higher than the Mitzvah Sabbath. So since you have this Havas, was mitzad the fact that all the birds saying, so there was this Havas the way it is even before this Havas Bapel. Mitzad all the birds saying, so miyadnes havu, yes, shemavai gam b'chinas ratzim machshava gdumadak. Since the same way we understand that in the Seder Amshach as a chayes alikit v'nimshach to Nevrayim, there's these four darges of Yud Kevavke. So in Adam Kadmen you have these four. You have the Havayil Osata. You have these 4 aces in Ak itself. Because in order for there to be a Sabbath, this Sabbath is through these Dal Aces. And each Nivra corresponds to the 4 Aces. So since you have the Inin of Sabbath the way it is inside the Ak, so you have the Inin of Dal Aces the way they are in Ak. Elders Shemavai Zayin Amakal this Sabbath, Kamashal Lever Zayin, Surah Tiyah Sabbath, and Shemavai Dal Sabbath. Mashal Lever Zayin Tiyah Sabbath means Be'etzem, he's higher than this Sabbath in Ak. It's the Ratzin this Sabbath. But the Ratzin was that this Sabbath should be through this Shemavai. This bar the Yilsham Sheyesh B'chinas Ratzin Meshu Bein Self B'nat Since Mashal Lever Zayin Apashal Hatzel B'Livrechu. Zayin Mashal this is the Lifnetz. Then Mashal Lever Zayin Yeshum Mashal Malka Shu B'chinas Sir. So Ratzin Nas Mashal Self Hatzel B'Livrechu. And then it's got to go to the Rosh and Shivas and Mekechu. Hainu from Zosh Amochot Sholko Batz Musi Shi Tavis Yom Tifin Kach V'Kach. El Shazeu B'chinas Helam Batz Musi Adai. B'chinas Ratzin Amochot Min Tzor Ratzin Machshavak Duman Al Achat Tzimtzum Shugam B'chinas Ratzin Klali Al Kol HaYish Talshalos. Which is Ratzin Klali. Omnom Hariz Zeb Bo B'derech In Erich Ratzin Al Derech like I say when they get that Tzilis and they get Chochma L'Gabi Kesed. That the Chochma L'Gabi Kesed Chochma is a Nekuda, which comes L'Acharis Almus Eir HaEtzam L'Gamri Al Derech Zeh is the Gabi Ratzin HaGoli of Ak and Ratzin HaMuchot. So Ratzin HaGoli you also have the Dal Aces, the way Ak is, the Dal Aces HaShayochim to his house. So there is a there also that it's Bob Derech In Arich, which is Ratzin HaMuchot Anal, there is a Mishloch Nezim Negeder Elmas Klal. Gamli we get the Ratzin Klali Klal. It's not even as a Nekuda Klolis Tale. It's not even forget about Nekuda Klolis as Chochme, not even a Ratzin Klali. So we're already being mafshit. You have Chochme as a Nekuda Klolis Tale, and you have a Ratzin Klali Tale. Which are theory in the Ratzin Klali you also have the Inin of Shemavai, but with not the Metzias of a Nekuda, the way it is inside the Ratzin. But that the Gabi Lifnat Simtzum is Adar Shemavai Dol Sata, because the Ak the Gabi Lifnat Simtzum is the Siluk Eira Etzam Legam, and you have the Nekuda of a Klal, a Ratzin Klali Akal Param Leil. She's having because Mashavadim Nagshuk and the Sasna Klali Leil, but already Simtzum. Shum Salmo say Rishon Legam Deshi because Sasna Mashavadim Dumana, and that's the Yud Shemavai is it. What's the Yud Shemavai? The Tnu of Ratzin Klali for Elamis, it's a Ratzin for Elamis. The Nekuda of Ak is not the Pshitas Elikus, not the Blikval of Elikus. Elikus being a Makar for Elamis, but a Makar in the highest state, a Tnu of Ratzin Elamis. Not the Pale Mamish of a Nekuda, like Chachma, but it's the Ratzin for Elamis. The Ratzin for Elamis is already, that's the Nekuda Sayyud, Shemavai. The Makar in the Makar edition. Das Yiddish Mabai. Shu b'chinas Helem Eira Atzmas Dein Sof. Vaser Nisha like Nekuda Achas Lavat. Du b'chinas Eira Shaykh Le'elamis. But which Eira Shaykh Le'elamis in the highest even the Ratzin Le'elamis. That's the Eira Shaykh Le'elamis. Ucholus. That's b'chinas Nekuda Sarreishim Shenichar Achar Atzimtzum. That's the Nekuda Sarreshimum. That's the Nekuda Klolis, which is the Makar in the Eira Shaykh Le'elamis. The Nekuda Zuk Le'elas Ba'atzma Kol Mashav Begin Achakach B'Helamis Chulu B'Shos B'Mar. And now he's going to go through how in Ak you have the Dal Eishes Havai. That means, what's Tutaruvda? Azay Zok, when Atzilis is the Mimutzi. In order, you have the Seichel Rav Atzi, which is believable. Then you have the Rav, the way he's a Makar for the Makal. The way he comes into a mode to be a Makar Lashpia Seichel to a Talmud. And in that, there's 4 Shlav. The Rav in himself is believable. The Rav, Seichel Rav, the way it's in a mode of being a Makar Tamakabel, there's 4 stages in that Eif. There's the Yud K Vav K. So does Doctor that Atzilis? What's the big pile between Atzilis and Vel, between Ilkus and Vel? That's Atzilis. And there you have the 4 Shlavim Lepayil. You have the Nekudas Indian. You have the Pratim of the Nekuda. You have Yud K Vav K. But now he's saying Ak. But even Klali Ak is already the first mode of a Lukus being in a state of a Makar Le'elam is that das Cholos and Ak. But it's not a Mitzvah of Elamis yet. It's the Ratzin Le'elamis. But the Ratzin Le'elamis is already also the same Nekuda as the Yud K Vav K, the Mitzvah Le'elamis. So in Adam Kadman, which in Yoniv Adam Kadman is not the Gili Hapshitas Vablikvul of the Eivishter. It's the Lukus becoming a Makar Le'elamis, the Shefa Leki, which is the Nekudas Achayis, which is Nimshach Elamis. So there's same way. There's 4 Shlavim. And when the Lukus becomes a Makar Le'elamis, there's 4 Shlavim that in Yin. There's Yud K Vav K. So there's an Ak. There's 4 Asis. There's the 4 Nekudas and Ak. Of course, it's Shalei better to the way it is in Chacham and Atzilis. Chacham is already it's a tzir of a Nekuda. It's already the Pel Mamish. Ak is the Ratzin of Elamis. But it's already also the way Lukus is becoming a Makar for Elamis. So there's the 49 there of Alai. So the Yud is the Nekuda Saratz and Klol. Nekuda Saresh. That's Chochma Gduma Dak. Shem Shebechinos, this is Shem Shebechinos Chochma Datzilus. Ubechinos Chochma the Maisa Bereish is Ubechinos Nekuda, the Yud, Hanishrach Rasis, Ubechinos Keser Chulu Kanal, Making Ubechinos Chochma Da'ak, Ubechinos Chochma the Maisa Bereish is Shazan never called him Chochma Sisik, which goes in Beit Chaim, but it's in a much higher level. Kuda Zukul as Basa Komash, she's got a high Kuchaz Shashus, Mereish Kol Dargan and Seif Kol Dargan. A kill Kol, but Kuda Zis the Chochma. El Shubahelim Chinas Kol Satan. Then there's the Hey of Ak. Hey of Ak is Amash, all these Pashas Erich Volecha. But who should nifru to Apratim Shinuk Tis Chochma? Ein a Kavanah Shia, Pratim Amsh Chinas Chakas, the way it is in Bino, the Pale and Atzilis, that he calls to Zel Chinas Mashav Dumadak Shamalim is Chakas. Shabbat Guf is Zel Chinas Pashas, which is rarely ill, the Kol Shabbat Kol Apratim, actually in Bashvar, so didn't say Hamal Say Kol Deres, Kulam Eskinachas Chulu. That's Chinas Binadak. Then there's the Hey Vav K. There's Vav Vav K. Hainu Chinas Amshach Abayis Pashas. Vakel Chinas Pashas Va'aguf. And then Chinas Pashas. The He'achen Shabayu Chinas Amshach Abagila Beilons. Hainu Chinas Malchus Da'ak and Asa Kesav Atik Datzilis. You see what he's saying? The same way we understand it. What I'm saying is we have the Elokus Tenivraim. Tenivraim Kipshutit, which is Gevol Legabik Ligvol. So there's the Seder of Dal Dedesis. Of the way Elokus becomes a Makar Ligvol. Al Derech Zeh, Lifnei Tzimtzum is the way the Eibishter is higher than Elokus. Moved the Legamri from his house. Then there's Elamis, which starts away from Koli and Atzilis. Where is the Mamutza, so to speak, between Elokus, which is beyond Elamis, to Elamis, even within Elokus Guf, Elam Atzilis? The Mamutza, that's Pchanas Ak. Al Derech, like Atzilis, is the Mamutza between Elokus and Ivraim. Ak is the Mamutza between Elokus, which is Mufshit from Etzias Elamis. Even Elamis ain't stuff, Elamis Elokus. I'm saying we're talking about Elamis, Elam Atzilis, not Elamis Nivraim. Esses Firis. So the Mamutza between Lifnei Tzimtzum to Elokus is Mufshit from Esser. Mufshit from Tzir. The Etzem. The Mamutza from the Elokus being in a state of a mucker for the Indian of Spheres, that's Adam Kadmon. So in Adam Kadmon Gufi you have the Dal basis. Same way when you get to the Mutza between Atzilus and Biyah, between Elokus and Ivraim, you have the Dal Shlav Imal Derazeh from Lifnei Tzimtzum, which is Elokus. The Elokus is Muvdal from Elams, from Spheres, from Tzir. To Tzir you have Adam Kadmon, which has the four Shlavim, the Dal basis. It didn't explain it when we get down here. This is just saying it's giving Agdam. What I'm saying is he's saying that what we're saying is that Ak is already a whole different mode. It's not Ak is already the Elokus being a mocker for Amshach and Metzias Neshes. You have the Nekoda, you have the Pratim, within the Seder Amshach Sa'er, to be a marker for Spheres, goes through four Shlavim. But even the Nekuda Sachachma is already not the Nekuda is not the Gilei Mashpia, his the Nekuda is that aspect of the Mashpia which is a Nekuda for Elamis. So there's a Gabi Ak. The Ak is not that it's Meir the Pshittis of Elokus. The Elokus is Mufshit from Metzias. It's that aspect in the Mashpia in Elokus, which is a marker for Elam, which is a marker for Spheres, not a marker for Nevraim, but a marker for Elamis, for the Etzem Nekuda of Elamis. And that is for that. We'll see later what's that's Pchanas Binadak. We went to that. But in Shem Avayish Machshav Gdum Dak, huh?
Why is the Ratzon HaMuchat not? Why are we saying
that's he says that already said nothing kiyah. The Ratzon HaMuchat is Batzmul Semamish. It's
why
not a
is it
Tmur
not some
Vashpa.
sort of share or some sort of.
It says but the Ratzon Lifnei Tzimtzum, there's only him. There's no makkah for a Metzias. It's not even a schol of a makkah for Metzias. There's no tnu of the Eibush himself is believable. It's nothing. It's not Lifnei Tzimtzum. There's no tnu of a reality outside of it. So whatever is Lifnei Tzimtzum is a prat in him. It's a different union. It's nothing to do as a makkah for another Metzias. There's no source for another. All the inyanim there is what is it like? What does it mean to him? That's the only aspect that exists over there. Elokus is Reitze, that there's a Dover Hanirtze that doesn't exist over there. Ak is already as Challah for Metzias. Zayin Nishem Avayish Machshav Gdum Dak, Shemchan Esses Firis Shabbat, Nika Esses Firis like Nuzis, that's called Kumashav Yitzchaim Shar Aleph, that there's Esses Firis in Ak, Begam Keleb Chan Zal Del Masav Yak Kulim Ba'ak, Shchol Mishem Avayi, Yud Etzol Sei Bria Vakel Mishu Ba'ak. Okay, this is, if you don't know yet we still didn't get, what he's being Meirach over here is that Ak, Inyani is not pshittis. Inyani is not Inyani is the shadish of the shadish to Elamis. Ratzin Klali, it's a Ratzin Gali Elamis, but the Nekuda is not the pshittis Elikus. The Nekuda is the way Elikus is the Nekudas which is Shaykh to the Mekabel. Al Derech is saying the Mashal. There's the Seichel Arav is in the Tnu of his Galus and the Tnu of his Pashtus. Then if his Mailim is Eir Seichel. And which mode is he in now? To be a Makkah for a Makabel. So the only thing which is Nisha, the Nekuda which is Nisha, La'achri Tzimtzum is a Nekuda which is Shaykh to be Neskala by the Makabel. So Al Derech Za'ak is that Nekuda in Elikus which is a Makkah for the Metzias Asfiris, Metzias Elamis. We'll see why that's negay. Okay, now you've not got to listen to you got the shonish zonas in the stam. Yes, the beginning of the Maimer. How's it a tam? The Hachodesh, the Davishes, sleeves, and Prince Adam Leon, and Prince Ag. Commission is barely in it. Alday is Savashi Shvatzilis. Say that Abbas, I'm sure I say should do with Alday is Shvak. So that's Saddam Leon. Means the way they are in Ratzin in Atzilis they come to pile. In a form of pile. But it's the same in the way it is in Ratzin. This is Meidach more in the next time. We'll say in Tihyu to Kadosh Ani Chulu, the Koyal Shema Vayidak. Kodesh Ani is going Shema Vayidak, making Kadesh Tihyu, since Atzilis is this Inyan. Not the way it is in Ratzin, the way it is in the sphere is the pile, so Kadesh Tihyu, Kadosh Ani, because there's a Dam Lev. Coming from Amrazal, as a Yachol Kameni, Tamalay, the Shasi Lamay Lachulu, which then is that's a Rakadam Lev. Ava Pchenas Aklam Alamat Silas, the winning Kadosh Shasi Shalamaylo. So it's not the Indian commercial. We're going to see in the next moment. He goes through these back and forth, these pratim. Gam Yishleim, from his way, the key of the Kilasis, from his Dam and the Gabiak, have the Gabiak, so it's not Pasha Tiri Bein Arechu. Also, Emer Kedushasi is going on Tiri Law, the Mailam Kedushasi. So, Kedeshim Tihyu, Lieski Kadeshan, Chinas Havai Dak. Since Adam Elgin, since we're Adam Elgin, the Melech Kedeshim Tihyu. That's B'chos Neshama is or Adesh Yigdurim Uprushim Chuli. Haina the Mizrach, Mizrach Leiser, Leiser Salfus Dush Su, Leiser Pchenas Adam Chuli. Kom Kim Yoch Kameni, Kmeit Pchenas Ak Mamish, das Kenner sein as it. Choshkin Gabi, and stuff Shalim Malam Pchenas Ak Kameni Pi Kodesh Ani, Dushas Malam Dushas. Yeah, the next lamb is Mamish Hemshech. So far, the Nekuda is. You're saying you're wrong. Not all this, right? That same way the Nekuda Vatzilis is, that of course the way of course comes as a Makar Le'elim is that Inyan, the way it is in Ratzin, is Ak, is Adam Kadim. I'm saying Adam Kadim is not a different Inyan. It's the Inyan of a Lekus being in a state of a Makar Le'elim. The way it is in Ratzin, not the way it is in Natzir the pile of Eses Firis, but the way it is in Ratzin. He's going to imagine the next time how Ak is different than Ratzin. How it's Shalei Be'erech. If you just look at the beginning, it's very much the same with Misham. So now Machas Shabbos, like one Machas Yom Tov, famous kasha. So my Machas Shabbos. It's like Machas Shabbos Mamish, Machas Yom Tov. Kacham de Meimah. Gamas Svartz Lechem, Svartz Machas. Ganz allein in Shabbos Misian Ma'im Tavim Shabbos. Hoffen ist like in this world the Shem Avay Batzilus. Vahain ube Seder Abbas Iradi Esfirs Batzilus Tenevroim. Making Nishma Avay Ba'ak. I have Esfirs Da'ak Shnik Esfirs Agnus. So now it says to be Hine Esfirs Da'ak Akim Chiskaos Lagam. Now he's speaking about the Inarech between Atzilus and Ak. And then if you look at the then after he speaks about the Inarech and Mitzad Echad Esfirs the Shem Inarech he starts going into Vayikra Vaya Vaya, Vazaim Vayikra Vaya Vaya, that the Tzadechat is not his Chazin Sashim, there's a Parsa, there's a Psik Taima, that's it. But Pizi Turska Shanal, if he is Havas. He wants to say that there's two, I'm saying the end goal is that on one hand, there's a Parsa, there's a Hefsik, on the other hand, it's a Damla. But it's Silas and Ak. Because it's. Yeah, but he's going to be Meir more. Said Echad Ak and Atzilis are the same Elikos we Elikos Amakar Fibriya. Leidach is the Einarech Club. That's the Sarsi the next time, but the Einarech between Atzilis and Ak. That's he's going to start doing.
We never seen this before, but it's Einarech Club.
Here's Meirach and the Meile, like Ak. We're going to see. You don't have to go. What's that? Leis not speaking about fakert. How Akaz Nekuda is not shit. This is also the same Nekuda as Makar the elements, but the way it is not.